Alright, ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys doing on this Wednesday, June 10th, 2020? Welcome to another metallic episode of Music of Destruction right here on YouTube, bringing you the best in metal-related content. And if you missed anything this week, click the eye in the upper right corner of the screen and get caught up on all my latest content from the past 7 days. I'd greatly appreciate it. Welcome to Album Ranking Wednesdays right here on the channel. I hope you've been enjoying this series as well as all of my other series here on the channel. And this week, we are having a look at my ranking of Marduk, with my albums from my least favorite to my most favorite album. Now, Marduk are the pioneers of the second wave of Swedish black metal and formed in 1990. I'm sure you guys already know that. If you know anything about Marduk or black metal in general, you're definitely going to know that Marduk were the pioneers of the second wave. Alright, so let's just get right into this here. Coming in at number 15, we have the album Viktoria, released in 2018, which is their most recent release. And I don't really know what it is about this album, why it's my least favorite, considering it's their newest, but it just misses the mark a little bit for me. Yeah, there's still some great songs on here. There's that sonic blasting from Marduk, with Mortusa's amazing vocals, Morgan's great guitar work, and of course the bass and the drums are amazing, and the production here is a little bit cleaner than I'm used to. However, it just doesn't seem like this was a very well put together Marduk album. It's still a good album, just not one of my favorites, of course. Coming in at number 14, we have Dark Endless, released in 1992 on No Fashion Records. And again, everybody really loves this album. They praise the living shit out of it in the black metal community. I know a lot of people who really love Dark Endless for obvious reasons. It is a fucking classic, don't get me wrong. But this was when Marduk was in their infancy after the legendary Fuck Me Jesus, which you can check out my review of right up there in the corner of the screen if you feel so inclined. Dark Endless is a strange album to me. It is still great. It just seems like they were kind of just too formulaic on this record. It is them in their infancy, of course, so they were still finding their sound and that direction that they wanted to go in, that they would later evolve into. Still a good album, got some great tracks on it. Coming in at number 13, we have Nightwing, released in 1998 on Osmose Records. Now, Nightwing is an album of ups and downs and peaks and valleys for me. It's still a great album, got a lot of great tracks on it. But again, this is just when Marduk was starting to really find their way. And maybe I just need to listen to Nightwing more. Of course, I want to get all of Marduk's albums. I do have a lot of them. But Nightwing to me is just kind of in the middle ground a little bit for me. It's not a terrible album. It's just not one of my favorites. If you love Nightwing, that's awesome. It's still a good album. Make sure you check it out. Check out all of Marduk's records, of course. Coming in at number 12, we have Those of the Unlight, released in 1993 on Osmose Productions. More of that traditional Marduk, brutal blasting, only this one is a little bit more atmospheric in places. Definitely has a lot of that trademark Marduk brutality, but also has a lot of different passages and atmospheres going on, different soundscapes. Legion, one of the greatest vocalists in black metal, does a tremendous job on this record. Number 12, Those of the Unlight. Coming in at number 11, we have the Marduk album that most people associate with Marduk and will hail as their favorite Marduk album of all time, with Opus Nocturne, which was released in 1994 on Osmose Productions. And myself, I still really think this is a great album. It has a lot of amazing songs on it, but again, it's still that same formulaic Marduk from the previous two albums. Legion, killer vocalist on here, of course, with the other, Morgan's guitar work, amazing, Devo's bass, amazing, or not Devo, sorry, B-War, and I forget the drummer's pseudonym. I'm not going to look that up right now. But Opus Nocturne is an improvement from the previous three efforts, but again, not where Marduk would eventually go, which is why we're going further down the list. Coming in at number 11, we have Opus Nocturne. Number 10, Le Grand Danse Macabre, released in 2001 on Blood Dawn Productions. What's really great about this album is this is the first Marduk album I ever heard back in 2001, and I remember being so captivated by the fact that Marduk decided to slow down and have a little bit more melody, not the melody in the way you're thinking, but that melodic, atmospheric, slow black metal that I have fallen in love with to this day with bands like Zaster, Leviathan, Streborg, and that slower paced black metal. Le Grand Dance Macabre really took things in a different direction for Marduk and expanded upon that atmosphere and those textures and soundscapes that Marduk have become famous for now with their most recent work from 2007 onward. Le Grand Dance Macabre kind of ventures into those territories but still keeps things very heavy and sonic and intense. Coming in at number 9, we have Frontschrein, released in 2015 on Century Media Records. And for this album, for me, is like a return to form to Panzer Division Marduk. It's actually almost like a sequel album with that heavy war theme, German war theme coming back once again, that sounds like World War II, extended from Panzer Division Marduk. Review of that album right up there in the corner of the screen as well. Yeah, Frontschwein is an incredible album, very bombastic, blasting, and brutal. Great album with Frontschwein. Coming in at number 8, we have World Funeral, released in 2003 on Blood Dawn Records. One of my favorite Marduk albums of all time. World Funeral was extremely evil and dark sounding, with Satan and Victorious Weapons is probably one of my favorite Marduk tracks of all time. It's got a lot of great tracks on here with some amazing deep cuts. The production on this one is a lot rawer than albums that came before it, so it's nice to see them moving back in that direction on this album. Legion and all the members doing a killer job on this record. World Funeral is awesome. Coming in at number 7, we have Plague Angel, released in 2004 on Blood Dawn Records. And Plague Angel, one of my favorite Marduk albums to date. Absolutely fucking relentlessly heavy, brutal, sonic, atmospheric. It's got some of those slower songs once again, coming back into that slower form for Marduk here, which is absolutely fucking awesome in my opinion. Great album with Plague Angel coming in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have Heaven Shall Burn When We Are Gathered, released in 1996 on Osmose Productions. Great fucking straight up brutal blasting satanic black metal with this one. Absolutely fucking awesome. Some of the greatest tracks I've ever heard from Marduk are on Heaven Shall Burn When We Are Gathered. I own like 8 of Marduk's records. This is one of them. This is truly fucking mesmerizing. And for the 32 or 35 minute duration, it's not overdone. And it will have you coming back for more. Great album with number 6, Heaven Shall Burn When We Are Gathered. Coming in at number 5, we have Panzer Division Marduk, a 30-minute blasting, epic, brutal, fucking sonic assault, released in 1999 on Osmose Productions. One of the greatest black metal albums of all time, period. One of the heaviest black metal albums of all time. Absolutely fucking brutal. I did a full review on that album as well, if you want to check that out. This is an amazing record. Coming in at number 4, we have Fuck Me Jesus, the demo EP, released in 1991 independently, later on Osmose Productions. One of the greatest debut demos I've ever fucking heard in my life. Pure sonic evil that just gets under your skin, man. I mean, it opens with a movie clip from The Exorcist. I'm sure if you've heard this album, you know what I'm talking about. One of the most evil sounding albums of all time, Fuck Me Jesus, released in 1991 from Marduk. Coming in at number 3, we have Serpent Sermon, released in 2012. Now, as some of you may know, Legion left the band between 2004 and 2007. I'm not exactly sure. And Mortus took over on vocals starting on, I believe it was Plague Angel or Rome 512. I'm not entirely sure when he came in. I'm pretty sure he did vocals for Plague Angel. I could be wrong. It might be Legion. It sounds kind of like Mortus, or it might have been both. Not entirely sure. If you want to let me know in the comments, I'd appreciate it, because I don't want to get that wrong. I don't know when Mortus did vocals, if he did vocals on Plague Angel. Anyway, Serpent Sermon, released in 2012 on Century Media. One of the most amazing Marduk albums with that brutal, brutal attack, but also a lot of atmosphere and slow down tempos on this album. Serpent Sermon, man, it's one of the greatest black metal albums of all fucking time. And if you haven't heard it, check it out. Check out all of Marduk's albums. One of the greatest black metal bands in history. Serpent Sermon coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, we have Wormwood, released in 2009 on Regain Records. This album to me is absolutely one of Marduk's crowning jewels. Just pure fucking chaos and atmosphere. Brutal stuff here. It's captivating, it's atmospheric, it's intense, it's real, it's honest. All of Marduk's work is about a mission, and they sing a lot about history and war, death, blasphemy, and anti-Christian themes. Great album. Pick up Wormwood if you don't have it. Coming in at number 1, we have my favorite Marduk album with Rome 512, released in 2007 on Blood Dawn Records. Rome 512 was a departure from from Plague Angel, but very similar in a lot of ways. One of the greatest black metal albums of all fucking time. It's sonic, it's fast, it's heavy, but it's also very, very atmospheric, and there's some music from Rome 512 playing in the background right now, as well as Wormwood, sorry. Rome 512 is a fucking masterpiece. My favorite Marduk album, and one of the greatest black metal albums of all time, from one of the greatest black metal bands of all time. So there you have it, my Marduk albums ranked. Hope you enjoyed. And hey, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss anything. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Music of Destruction. Join the Facebook group for all things metal, facebook.com/groups/Music of Destruction. Get access to exclusive Patreon-only podcasts by supporting the channel through Patreon, patreon.com/Music of Destruction. Right now, I'm currently working on the history of Dio Part 1. The Seed episode number 22 is going to be up on Saturday, June 13th. And, I mean, it's Dio, man. And the Man on the Silver Mountain just came out, the documentary on Ronnie James Dio. And I'm going to be putting together an epic podcast series on Dio, one of the greatest power metal / heavy metal bands of all time. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you for your support on Patreon. Shoutouts to Shadows of Death Records. Go to shadowsofdeathrecords.com and check out all of the awesome bands on his label. I'm going to be reviewing some of his stuff in the coming weeks from his label. I know he's been asking me to do that for months. Yes, Gail, I will be reviewing some of your bands coming up here. Shoutouts to Pissing Razors and Texas Voodoo Stomp. Eulogy Death March from the Pissing Razors is being worked on as we speak. Going to be a full in-depth review of that, as well as another interview with Pissing Razors coming up in the next couple of months, so look forward to that. As well, Metal Ben's Chronicles, King of Swords, Acid Metal, and Morticide. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Smash subscribe button, comment, and like. Have a great night. We will see you for Top 15 Thursdays. I will be doing my Top 15 Metal Frontmen. Look forward to that. See you guys later. Bye-bye.